The street has been absolutely cleared out. Maybe on the ground you can see the remnants of the looting that took place on the street. I mean, look, there's Nike boxes. Obviously, businesses had been broken into, everything torn out. There's litter all over the street. I found myself in national news this week because I was detained and handcuffed while covering protests at Echo Park Lake. The city of Los Angeles is continuing to tackle its homelessness crisis by clearing out street encampments. This is such a tight, unpredictable race.
Detractors say that this is about electability, that the recall failed but still got nearly 26,000 signatures, and that this is a way for you to bow out on your own terms.
We're taking a deep dive on alleged gang-like activity among deputies inside the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. Tattoos are a statement to the world, but inside the LA County Sheriff's Department, certain tattoos are shrouded in secrecy, alleged symbols of membership in violent deputy gangs. So when we tracked down an artist who confirmed he inked dozens of deputies with this Banditos tattoo, we agreed to protect his identity.
It's all the same tattoo, just the numbers are changed.
And over the course of 15 years, he said he's tattooed close to 40 members. LA County Democrats helped him win in 2018, but at a rally in Santa Clarita, Sheriff Alex Villanueva's support was overwhelmingly conservative. Republican electeds spoke from the stage to a few dozen supporters, including this registered Republican who calls himself Mario Presents.
I voted for Villanueva in 2018 because I wanted something different. I wanted a change, and he was the first one to obviously unseat an incumbent, and he's also the first sheriff ever to speak Spanish. Eso es muy importante a mí.
Villanueva said it's the party that shifted to the left, leading to his embattled relationship with LA Democrats who have urged him to resign.
I'm a proud member of the Democratic Party of JFK and FDR vintage. The whole woke, ultra-progressive, far left is not really where the heart of the LA or the Democratic Party is. I think the pendulum is going to swing back to a middle.
But Villanueva is not just under fire from Democrats, but members of his own department. 4 whistleblowers have now come forward alleging he obstructed justice to cover up a use of force incident where a deputy kneeled on a handcuffed inmate for 3 minutes. In her claim, former Assistant Sheriff Robin Limon went further, accusing Villanueva of direct dealing with an employee union, using county resources to campaign for re-election, and retaliating against deputies who voiced concerns. How do you respond to claims that your department is working on your campaign, that you're using county resources to campaign?
No, we have a strict, bright line division between the two.
Limon alleges Villanueva's campaign manager, Javier Gonzalez, inserted himself in contract negotiations and encouraged the sheriff to deploy deputies in LAPD territory to help the sheriff raise money. Gonzalez himself declined to comment. Villanueva denies all the allegations against him and declined to talk about active lawsuits.
Well, I can say is we'll have more information this week, and the facts are going to be very damning, but won't be for our side, and it'll be up to you folks to decide how to report that.
Supporter Mario Presents dismissed the allegations.
This is just the mainstream media trying to destroy a good Latino candidate's good name. He's actually made our community safer, and the Board of Supervisors has tried everything they can to depower him.
He's standing by his sheriff.
LA Mayor Eric Garcetti's future is up in the air. His nomination to be the next U.S. ambassador to India is on hold while multiple senators investigate sexual harassment claims involving a top aide. Garcetti told me this week he was cleared by an independent investigation into whether aide Rick Jacobs sexually harassed a member of his security detail. But key whistleblowers who did not participate in that investigation are now talking to the Senate, saying the mayor saw what was happening and did nothing to stop it.
While headlines scream his nomination to become the U.S. ambassador to India is in peril, Mayor Eric Garcetti is all smiles at local events. Confident with continued support from the White House, The Senate will confirm him soon.
We've had such great conversations, the backing of the White House, a unanimous vote out of committee, and I'm excited and feel the sense of urgency when we see the images coming out of Ukraine that we need an ambassador in India now.
His nomination has stalled amid allegations his former top aide, Rick Jacobs, sexually harassed staff members under his watch. His former director of communications, Naomi Seligman, said Garcetti's silence enabled Jacobs for years.
We again and again and again saw him doing it, kissing people on the lips, grabbing people from behind, making inappropriate comments in front of the mayor.
Jacobs has called the allegations pure fiction, and Garcetti maintains he was cleared by an independent investigation obtained by Spectrum News 1 that said this, quote, Mr. Jacobs never forcibly kissed anyone, either at work or at social events. However, Mr. Jacobs sometimes kissed others in greeting at social events, but the kissing was mutual. In Mr. Jacobs' experience growing up and as a gay man, kissing on the mouth was a common way to greet others. Seligman says when Jacobs kissed her in front of other staffers, it was not mutual, it was humiliating. In 2020, junior staffer Anna Barr texted her supervisors Jacobs abused and harassed her with kisses, squeezes, and crass sexual statements. When asked about the text, Barr told us, quote, while I was never sexually harassed by Rick Jacobs, I knew people who were, and I found him to be an abusive boss. I was aware of his reputation and discussed it with my immediate supervisors in the communications department, who described him as a liability, but did nothing. Seligman is represented by Whistleblower Aid, a nonpartisan nonprofit that supports individuals disclosing misconduct. Her lawyer, John Ty, confirms they've met with senators on both sides of the aisle.
Naomi's treatment by Rick Jacobs, by Mayor Garcetti, and by others in his office has been horrific.
In a brief interview last week, Garcetti falsely claimed the city report included sworn testimony that Seligman's claims are not corroborated.
The independent report is crystal clear, and 40 people under oath have been clear. And everybody who's worked under that person have been clear that that allegation absolutely did not happen.
Is your office still talking to the Senate then? Thank you. An aide quickly ended the interview, and Garcetti went back to taking questions about city business and posing for photos. It's nearly noon, and Daniel Dickerson has yet to figure out where he's going to sleep tonight. He's just abandoned his tent after a local gang showed up this morning with guns.
What audacity to think that I should be allowed to live somewhere. Yeah, I guess I should just go die somewhere, because that's what they want.
Until this week, he's had a room at the Mayfair Hotel thanks to Project Room Key, a federal pandemic program that paid for hotel rooms to get the homeless off the street. FEMA is ending the program this fall.
I said, oh, okay, so I'm just going to go back to the sidewalk and don't let the door hit me in the ass on the way out? And she goes, yeah.
On July 1st, there were 215 people sheltered at the Mayfair. By Friday, there were only 2. Carmela Fitzpatrick is also back on the street, though she's counting her blessings because she still has her RV.
Some people have gotten their Section 8 and their location. Some people have not.
A few Room Key hotels will provide shelter through September. Councilman Kevin DeLeon's office says there are about 600 people still at the LA Grand, and a third of those have emergency housing vouchers but haven't found landlords to accept them. He says LA's Homeless Services Authority, LAHSA, failed to plan for this moment. Quote, LA cannot afford to go back on the promises made to the PRK participants. My staff and I have doggedly requested a ramp-down plan from LAHSA on multiple occasions, and the lack of follow-through has been a huge concern. LAHSA was unable to comment for the story. Dickerson was turned away from the Grand because they can't verify he's vaccinated for COVID-19, even though he was just in another hotel. It's nearly impossible to keep track of documents when you're homeless.
I have borderline personality disorder.
Fitzpatrick says Room Key was a missed opportunity to help people rebuild their lives and regain trust in the system.
Especially when you've been in a bad position, it gets very depressing. People will get depressed and then they just don't want to do anything.
Dickerson is outraged and bitter. His only shred of hope is a single sheet of paper.
Here's my voucher.
One of those precious housing vouchers that would subsidize his rent if he just found a landlord to accept it.